and welcome to the very first episode of Movie Date with Stacy and I. I am your host, Stacy, and thank you so much for joining us. So happy you made it here, and I hope you enjoy it. Every episode, my guest will choose a movie of any genre, and we will discuss it. And tonight, my guest is David Carson, host of the podcast Stupid Gay Drama. Hello, David. How are you?
Hey, Stacy. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So, tell us a little bit about your podcast.
First of all, thank you so much for having me here today.
Of course.
I've always loved your company, and I'm really excited to just be here with you to start this new adventure for you. So, Once again, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for letting me have this platform to talk about my podcast.
Of course.
Which is called Stupid Gay Drama, the number one podcast on all things stupid, gay, and dramatic. Stupid Gay Drama came out this past year. I threw out a couple of trial run episodes. Just trying to get my foot in the door, trying to see what I wanted to talk about on the show. I knew that I have a voice. I know that I have things to say, but I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to put those things together. Mm-hmm. And from that came Stupid Gay Drama. I'd finished up with college. I had time on my hands, and I found something that, really just has taken up so much of my time and has taught me a lot, not only about myself, but about other people and just interactions with other people. It originally started out as a podcast for things, Stupid, Gay, and Dramatic, where we talked about Vanderpump Rules or Floribama Shore or some shit like that. But, it's kind of expanded out a little bit more into telling other people's stories, because I realized that's actually what I find interesting about, reality shows and stuff like that, is just the communication and the interactions between people. So from that, I'm rebranding Stupid Gay Drama. I'm going to be having people coming on there talking about their coming out stories. I'm going to tell my coming out story, which, I think that some of it, but I don't think all of it.
Don't even know if I know some of it.
I think that some. Yeah, I know for a fact that some of it, because you've known me in the past couple of years, and I only came out,
I guess
I came out at a kind of late age. I'm not going to say how old I was, but it was late in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a really interesting story there that I think, not only would interest people to hear, but also could maybe help out a couple of people to hear.
Definitely.
There is no gay guide, there's no booklet to tell you, how things are supposed to be. But, if you listen to my podcast and maybe get, a good glimpse of
one's perspective.
Of one person's, experience.
Well, it sounds awesome. And I've heard what you do have released, and I love it. So
thank you so much.
I'm excited to hear the new twist on it.
It has been a labor of love, but everything is, right?
Definitely. And I don't know, it's nice to have a platform to, like you said, you have a voice in what you have to say, what you want to say is important, and it's so true. I feel like a lot of us get stuck in this mindset of who wants to hear from me. Mm-hmm. I'm no one. But fuck that. If you have the means to create something and put it out into the world, do that shit, because no matter what, it's gonna make you feel better, and it's gonna be an outlet for you.
Yeah, you don't realize the amount of people that actually listen to you and are interested in the things that you say. Yeah, I want to hear
what you want and have to say.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in that type of podcast, listen to Stupid Gay Drama. But today we're gonna be talking about Movie Date with Stacy.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing Jawbreaker.
I grew up watching all of those 90s teen dramas, and they have a special place in my heart.
Every single one of those, She's All That, every single one of those, Cruel Intentions, everything from the 90s.
All the Mean
I
Girls.
love that. Everything. Everybody from the Dawson's Creek cast, that time in Hollywood was just iconic, Sarah Michelle Gellar, fucking
Buffy. Oh my gosh.
We could talk about Buffy for a couple hours.
I know, we should go over
This
Buffy.
is now a Buffy podcast.
Oh, that's so funny. I have a confession. I've never seen or never watched Dawson's Creek. I know, and I know I'm going to love it. It's the same writer as Scream.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know what you did last summer.
All of the cheesy romance from it, it's all in Dawson's
Without
Creek.
the scare.
Exactly. Well, there's a couple of scares.
Really?
Not really.
Okay.
But sometimes.
I really need to watch it. I could
it's so
binge
good.
it.
Kevin
I'm sure.
Williamson, he's a champ. But yeah, we're talking about Jawbreaker, which, it came out, I believe, 1999, starring Rose McGowan, Rebecca Gayhart, Julie Benz.
Yeah, Julie
I love
Benz.
Julie Benz. She was Darla from Angel, and that was an iconic role also.
And she was Rita from Dexter.
Oh shit, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Well,
She's
his
just
first girlfriend.
She's gorgeous. That trio right there, they're just iconic. That scene of the three of them walking down the hallway to I cannot think of the name of the song.
I don't know, that soundtrack is amazing though.
That song literally is iconic, and they're they all have their own colors, it's just perfect.
Like that in movies like this, where they're just dressed to the nines for high school. I'm like, girl, none of us look like that in high school.
You know what? I love that though. I love that they looked
it's
like they were 25 years old.
I read that was on purpose too.
Really?
Paying homage to Grease and all of those really popular teen movies
films from the 80s where they were so
nearly 30 women. They literally look like grown ass women trying to be seniors in high school.
Rose McGowan literally walking around this entire movie. Her breasts are just popping. They're out there.
Amazing.
She is
so beautiful. She's a hottie.
She's literally I don't even know how to describe her. She's that.
She's that girl. She's definitely the one in the group, and she plays it well.
She's Courtney Shane is an iconic character. Yeah. I don't know how much more times I can say the word iconic, but there's just no other word to use to describe her. She literally all of her lines are the best. Her fashion is the best. She's just somebody you don't want to fuck with.
I know, and she'll tell you too. She's like, "Don't fuck with me. I will ruin you."
Literally,
I will bring you down. So it starts with
the clique literally just announcing themselves. Announcing themselves, walking down the hallway.
You get a good look at them.
Exactly. You get a good look at the three main girls, and you
also get a look at Fern Mayo, who comes into the story a little later.
Which, you don't even realize it's her. You think it's just this nerdy girl, they're whatever.
Yeah.
But then also there's 4 girls.
Yeah,
there's actually 4 girls. My bad. And there's one girl that stops and she helps this nerdy girl out.
After she drops her books.
It's just an afterthought. They don't make mention of it in this scene, but they show that so that you, the viewer, are able to see that.
Mm-hmm. That ends, and then there's a scene of Jawbreakers being made, and it shows you how the candy factories produce a Jawbreaker, and it's all the credits and things like that, and it's a really cute scene.
It basically shows photos of the girls growing up together. They've been that girl gang of 4 since they've been younger. But the line that is said is basically, this is not a way that you want to wake up on your 17th birthday. Mm-hmm. You see the main girl, who was the sweet girl that stopped to help the other girl, Liz, who doesn't have any lines in the movie that I can remember. She doesn't say anything. So basically Liz wakes up,
sees 3 people in a mask.
3 people in masks above her that shove a fucking Jawbreaker down her throat. They don't literally shove it down her throat.
In her mouth and tape it shut. They put her in the trunk. And they're going to school, and they're planning on flying her underwear up the flagpole and doing all these silly things.
Taping her to the flagpole.
Birthday.
Basically just making,
a fun
dumb
prank.
Teenage girl shit, nothing crazy serious.
And then they open the trunk, and the Jawbreaker is lodged in her fucking throat, and she is dead.
She is dead. She is blue.
And okay, so
as soon as they open the trunk,
Foxy screams. Because they call her Foxy. Her name's Marcy Fox. And they call her Foxy. She screams and she looks genuinely scared. And then Julie is the other girl's name, right?
Yeah, Rebecca Gayhart's
character. Rebecca Gayhart's character looks very scared as well. And then Rose McGowan is strangely calm and collected. And it's just oh, shit.
She's dead.
She's dead, I guess. So they start freaking out. They start trying to figure out, what to do. They concoct this plan. They're going to call in sick for her as her mother. And why did they do that is what I'm wondering. They could have skipped that whole part. But I think it was the quick thinking at first, and then the plan came next. So that kind of throws off things later.
But I loved That whole scene of her in the car and like her getting mad at Marcy. I forgot, what did she say to Marcy? She got upset with her.
She's like, we're gonna go in that school.
No,
we're gonna. Oh wait, what?
No, she said, what did she was like, Marcy's like, you did such a good job.
I know. She's like, that was so convincing.
That was so convincing.
And she, I bet you I wrote it down. But she's like, yeah, duh. Or basically just says, duh. Of course I did a good job because I'm Courtney fucking Shane.
Courtney fucking Shane.
But so they call in for her. They leave her in the trunk all day when they're at school. They have another scene walking down the hall, but it's just the three of them. It's
another one of those iconic hallway scenes of them
like
owning the school. There is a lot of them, but the fact that like they just killed their best friend, and now they're having like girls get in formation.
And
we gotta do this.
Marcy and fucking Courtney move on pretty quick.
They're just like, it happened,
just like,
whatever.
Yeah.
Julie is the only one that has any type of like empathy, like sadness about the situation.
She's really like fucked up about it, which is
like, we killed our best friend.
Yeah, like we accidentally committed murder. Like this is a real thing.
So they go inside, they go to the bathroom.
They fucking chase everyone out of there. They're like, bye, see you fucking later, get the fuck out. Like just showing really like how dominant they are in school. So they chase all of them out. They all like bend over at once to reapply their lipstick. Everything is very sequenced and like uniform, which is really like cute and just a really like, I don't know, this movie was targeted for people like us. Like I fucking eat it up. I love it so much.
There was just, I don't know if it had to do with the director or if it was just like the script itself. Like there was just everything about it like called to me.
There's so many lines too, one after the other, that you're just like, oh my gosh, like
and they usually come from Courtney Shane.
I know, she's the line queen.
So basically, they sit in the bathroom and they talk about what had happened whenever the teacher walks in. Yeah. It's like, hey, listen, the mother of Liz called and she needs homework because Liz is sick right now. So Courtney's like, yeah, no problem. I'll go pick it up from you, whatever. Yeah. They go outside to go eat lunch. They're sitting on the bleachers, and they're devising a plan of what to say happened. They're talking about saying that some man raped her, this, that, the other thing. This is where I wrote down, this is 13 minutes into the movie, and I'm thinking like,
already
her best friends are saying that they're going to convince everybody that some guy raped her because that's everybody's biggest fear is, you know, a young white girl, you know, being desecrated, like being violated.
And still the only one really giving a fuck is Julie being like, we should just call the cops, we should just call. Which, like, why didn't she just fucking call them?
You know, peer pressure. Courtney Shane was going to ruin her life if she did that. So she could not just call. And Marcy's not going to call because Marcy does not as we see, well, as we see from later on in the scene with Marcy and her father's like, I feel like you're a follower. Yeah. Like, and she's the biggest follower. She doesn't have any type of identity outside of her high school, like...
And being who she is in that group.
She's known as being like the right hand chick. She's not even like the main chick. She's like the right hand. And she's like comfortable being that, which, you know,
if you could be number 2 to Courtney Shane, like, I mean, I'd probably take that spot.
Right? Yeah.
But they catch her. So they run out of the school. They catch the principal right before. I think she's a principal. I can't remember. I think
she's just a teacher.
But
Fern had went in there earlier to ask about if she was going to be accompanying them on like the Bondi Club meeting or something like that. Some like class trip.
Some nerdy trip.
Some nerd, because she's total like square, like.
Yeah, and I heard that she was also modeled after Carrie.
I mean, I could totally see that, like, with you saying that. Yeah. Just that fucking, like, the jumper,
long
like, the stringy hair, like, that's exactly
and her mannerisms, too. She
Violet. Violet. I love that.
I love Judy Greer. Fern's played by Judy Greer. She's great. But, Fern is sent home with the homework. So she's walking all blissfully. And she's like, so excited. Because Liz is Liz, you know? Liz is the coolest girl in school.
She's the teen dream.
She's probably deal with it. She's probably the coolest girl next to Courtney, but in like her own right because she is sweet.
She's more popular than Courtney.
Yeah.
Courtney only rises to popularity because Liz is not there anymore.
Yeah. So Fern's on her way. They drive over. They get there before Fern, carry her body upstairs, and they decide to stage like a rape, or basically Yeah, like someone came
literally
in, they gagged her with the Jawbreaker. Like, it all happened because of someone attacking her. Which is awful. Like, couldn't imagine. But
Marcy and Courtney could care less. Julie's like going through
they're like having fun doing it almost. They're like putting her body in like positions and like trying to like stage it to look like something went down. It's pretty awful.
It is awful. Fern is like on her way into the house and she like sees a flower. she picks it up.
Oh yeah, and she smells it.
She picks it up. She's like,
and it's a fucking centipede.
There's like a big ass centipede in there. I'm like,
and
what the fuck?
She drops it. It's a fucking omen, dude. It's like you're about to walk into something that you need to back up from.
You need to walk away, girl. Like the tension in that scene though is just like, you can feel it. Kind of felt like a horror movie, like building up. Yeah. Like the scene of like Fern walking in, and then like the girls, you know that Fern's about to walk in there.
You know it's gonna see.
You know that she's either gonna see something or hear something. Something is gonna happen. She was scared. I mean, could you imagine like you're going out, the most popular girl at school, and you hear all of her friends in a room saying, "We murdered her, and now we're gonna stage a rape." Like the fuck. Like Fern is standing outside the door, like,
excuse me. The door flies open.
The door flies open, and like it's like the three fucking witches of like Eastwick,
which is funny because Rose McGowan was on Charmed.
Yeah. They like scare, like they start questioning her, like, Fern, and what did you hear?
Not Rose. Courtney is in control, and she's just like, you heard what you heard, and guess what? That means you have power.
Yeah, what happened? And like, basically, she sees the body.
Yeah, she freaks and
she
runs.
sees it, and I don't blame her. I'd be like, get the fuck out of there.
I know. Like, what did you do?
But like, so Courtney gets Marcy, get her.
I know, Marcy, get her.
And like Marcy being the follower that she is.
And she's barely running. I love that she's like running, but she's like,
Like, and she like chases her outside. And they're like literally all like right behind her.
And she just grabs her with the lightest little grab and she stops. I'm like, what?
And Fern just like sits there and cries. I'm like, you're not even gonna fight back, like nothing. And like, this is the best. Like, Courtney walks up and she's all like, what did she say? She said, have a little scare, dear.
I know, like,
you
what?
Fucking villain.
I
like,
know.
you bitch, you just killed somebody. She just killed somebody, and then she's gonna go over there.
Fuck. It was definitely, I think it was just Courtney Shane murdered her.
No, like, but the fact that she fucking says that, well, she goes, have a little scare, dear, and then Marcy goes, boo, like, right behind her. Like, first of all, you follow her. Second of all, that was really funny.
I know. And then she has her, like, hands on her shoulders, and they start breaking things down for her. They're like, okay, this is how it's gonna go. We have, basically, in a few words, we have what you want. We'll give it to you if you keep your mouth shut.
Which, I mean, Marcy's like cool with it. Courtney's cool with it. Julia is not cool with it. Julie's she tells her, she says, you can't own somebody by making them beautiful. Like, give me a fucking break.
Yeah,
like,
and she's like,
but
whatever, honey, you definitely can.
But you can, because the next scene shows Fern's like transformation.
Which is a really interesting like makeover sequence. There's like I looked for the poem and I couldn't find it, but there's like a poem in the background that they're chanting, and it's a rhyme, and it's like while she's getting made over and shit by all these weird people. You know how they're like saying stuff, and it's almost saying, like it's a rhyme.
It sounds like a fucking witch type situation.
Yeah, it sounds like they're like invoking some fucking demon or some shit.
And they did a demon in the form of Violet, Vylette.
I know you. I know all about you. You're the one in the corner at the dances that the geeks won't dance with because they're at home fucking old pervs in cyberspace thinking they're doing some hot babe. There's nothing to hide, Fern. You're nothing. We're everything. You're the shadow. We're the sun. But I'm here to offer you something you never dared dream of. Something that you were never meant to be, but will be. Because today, Fern, my dear, fate has decided that you are cool. We're gonna make you one of us. Beautiful, popular, loved, feared. All that you've ever dreamed of. If, and only if, you never, ever tell anyone what you heard. Think of it.
This is sick, Courtney. You don't own someone by making them beautiful. You can't hide the truth with a makeover.
Liz is gone, Fern. Take her place. You know you want it. Think about boys. Think of that prom is your portrait. They'll be lining up.
All they see,
Make it shine,
not with oil,
but with drive.
Watch the eyes come alive as me, as us.
A dash of magenta.
lashes full, black and thick.
X-rated glass, lips full and slick. Hair frames the portrait.
Some gilded.
Some gold.
Color, the secret to not growing old.
We cut, layer, and curl.
For a look that is you,
For the hair of a dead girl.
we use model glue.
Lips full
Flush.
and dark.
A fine line that traces a deep crimson heart.
Rest now, sweetness.
Till the day all shall see the beauty we molded from sheer misery.
And she does become intimidating after
I know,
that.
and-
Well, it takes her a little bit of time, like, to get used to everything.
But she
because
falls right into place.
She like
She
it's
eats
nothing.
it fucking up.
She does.
Judy Greer said in an interview once that whenever she was in Fern Mayo's like wardrobe and makeup behind the scenes, like no one really paid attention to her.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever she was dressed up like Violet, like going to do a scene, like she had a lot more.
Because she looks like
attention.
freaking Marilyn like Monroe,
I
like whenever she's
know.
Violet, and then when she's Fern, she looks like fucking Carrie White. Like
I know, they really is opposite. And she's intimidating.
that's like great makeup right there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can obviously like I said with the ones earlier, you can obviously tell that she's like 35
Yeah,
in
I
fucking
know.
high school.
I'm like, okay,
like,
but she still doesn't look
I love it.
like a high schooler. But that's okay. Anyways.
She's just Violet with a Y. Gotta love her. But she kind of takes Julie's spot in the group.
Yeah.
There's never anything said about it either. That's the weird thing that I noticed. Is
I know,
like
the next scene is just
it was literally
those
just the
three
next
walking
day.
down the
Yeah.
hallway, and Julie's not involved.
So
And I'm
and
like,
like
wait.
the span of this movie is only a couple of days because
Uh-huh.
right the next scene that we see after that is her parents finding Liz's body.
Yeah.
Which is like
That's
it
a-
kind of
you know
you know what
what
it
it
reminded
is?
me of? You know what it
What?
reminded me of? The scene in Scream whenever they find Casey's body at the beginning, like her parents are riding home, like you watching it. Like I felt that same type of
Oh my
like
gosh,
dread.
that scene in Scream every time gives me shivers. Her mom's scream.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I love that movie so much. But yeah, I definitely, and like the flashing, like it was a flash of white light as soon as they walked through the door. And we
Okay,
move
so-
on to Fern is now part of the group, and they're sitting at the lunch table.
Julie has now been totally outcast. She is sitting with like the gothic freaks. They all sit down, they're eating. Almost Violet. I like how I call her Violet, not
Almost,
even
yeah.
Fern. I was like, Violet almost eats a bite of a tuna fish sandwich,
Yeah.
which
What
the
does
other girls are
Carly
like
say?
disgusted.
She's like, fish market much or some shit, like just something so
She's just like
mean.
horrified that she would dare to like. They have 3 Diet Cokes that they drink on.
They don't eat. She says
They don't
we
eat.
don't eat in front of people because people associate that with bowel movements and flatulence and just things that we. Do you want to be associated with poop?
That's what she said. She's all like, we eat and we eat very well.
Yeah, she's
It's
like, yeah, we eat
we
and
just
we eat
don't
very
do
well.
it like in front of anybody.
Okay, so Violet is now part of the crew, and Julie is out. So I believe the next scene is like the
next scene
the detective?
is the big stick.
Oh my god!
The big
I
stick.
forgot about this. Okay,
Courtney-
so Courtney's like totally into kink.
Yeah,
And
she's
she's
like
a little freak.
this girl's supposed to be like 17 years old.
Dude, I'm telling you, this girl is like she's got a Patreon, she's got a fucking like
OnlyFans, yeah,
whatever
she's
it
got
is.
all of them. She's got
She
her
is
premium
like modern
Snapchat.
day cam girl, like she could run that shit.
That's her back in like 1999. I'd be afraid of her like
I
in
know,
2019.
dude, I'm telling you.
Like she would fucking run the world. That girl.
So,
So she basically is just
She's,
like,
like-
teasing this boy that she's been like messing
Yeah.
around with through the entire movie, like just basically like asserting her dominance over him. Like
With
you're
the
gonna
big
do what I want
popsicle.
and like how I want it. So she's making him suck on the popsicle and lick on it, all that fun stuff.
and he's
When
like,
there's
wait,
some-
you want me to do what?
He's like typical like fucking 17-year-old boy. Like
She's
I'm
like,
not
I
doing
can't
that.
remember.
I'm not gonna do that.
have to
And then
show
of course
me.
he does it.
I know, yeah, because she's like, I'm like this close, but I just need a little bit more help. And he's like, okay,
I'll
I'll
do
do
it,
it.
sure, anything.
So they're like about to like get to that moment.
No, Courtney goes out. She starts blowing him for like a second, and then all of a sudden there's like a knock at the door.
Opens it. It's the police.
It's Pam Grier. Fucking Pam Grier.
Yes. Fucking Jackie Brown up in this bitch.
It was so random, like, but I loved it.
Though. Yeah, I know. She's scary, and she was such an
intimidating.
detective.
Yeah.
She was so like, she's like, where were you? And they're like, I don't know. And then she's like, where
she
the
didn't
fuck
give
were
a
you?
fuck about these little white girls. Like,
no, she
was
really
about to put them through some shit.
Fuck.
She knew that there was something in the milk wasn't clean. So.
Yeah, because they fucking called the morning of as her mom. So that is just suspicious right off the bat. Like, who the fuck made this call?
Yeah, somebody was obviously
attacked
doing this. Yeah.
In a female's voice. Like, exactly. What's going on here? So the questioning starts. They all just say, don't know. I have no idea.
So the next scene is Marcy and her dad talking about...
Which we talked about earlier.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. But it was like a really funny scene, though. Like, I love the fact that they were... That she just was totally over him. She's like, you're so fucking weird. Like, and I'm not sure if he was like supposed to be like a gay like caricature or something. I kind of like got that vibe whenever he started singing like Tiffany and stuff.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was really sweet though, and sad though, to see the connection between them. It's just like there's nothing because she was so over it. She is so like vapid and just. Which I remember a moment in my like teenhood where I like. That wanted nothing to do with my parents. I wanted them to not talk to me. I wanted to walk through the door and go straight to my room and to like act like they didn't even exist. So I get it. But
and her dad was like her dad and her mom. Like they make mention of that he was like a single parent. Like he's talking about like watching Oprah. She's like, oh, is that the mom side coming out?
And he was like, yes, Oprah, that is my daughter. She is a follower.
She
like
is
talking
a follower.
Back to the screen. All the while, we skipped the part where they like walk up on, which is so weird to me. Like, why is this guy thrown into the mix like halfway through the film? The like love interest of Julie.
Oh, I agree. I think that they
like
totally could have
through.
not. You know what? If they would have had him just be her boyfriend, like just so that she could go like prom with and stuff, that whole like subplot could have been taken out, and we could have gotten something interesting like Courtney's home life or like Julie's home life, because we didn't find anything out.
A little bit more building of that almost, because I just remained so uncaring about what honestly happened.
He was like not like a leading like man. He
reminded me of like Reality Bites Ethan Hawke a little bit. He definitely was trying to be like young Ethan Hawke up in there, which I appreciated because he was definitely 90s like babe at the time.
He just like was not my cup of tea, no. And that's so funny that you thought the same thing. I'm so glad.
Yeah, I just thought, what's the point of that? So he's like theater drama boy, but he's also like cute, and all the girls still like him, even though Courtney Shane's like theater. It's like
he's gay.
Like, yeah, he's like definitely gay, but she wants to set Fern up with him. Mm-hmm. So that's how he kind of gets introduced, which I feel like is kind of weak at the same time, but whatever.
So I guess that's his little like...
She ends up kind of failing at that, but Julie catches a ride home because there's another person Julie just knows from her past all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so funny how little things are written that.
Yeah, they left out like so much like world like building.
I wish they didn't.
Yeah.
It would have been a better film. It's only an hour and 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would have been better if we got more about who they were and like just, I don't know, a little bit into the inside of why they are the way they are, but also it's like a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, you know, it would make like a perfect like backdrop for like an 8-episode like maxi series, like just to kind of like dig into all of their like home lives and
definitely.
stuff.
Jawbreaker should definitely become like the next Euphoria. Have you seen Euphoria?
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings about it. I'll say that.
We should talk about that too.
They're not all good ones. They're not all good ones.
I haven't finished it. I've only seen the first 3 episodes.
I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I thought that it was graphic and gratuitous.
Very graphic.
I thought it was gratuitous.
It's HBO, baby.
I can't even get into it because I'll be sitting here talking about it too long. But it's just very...
Jawbreaker, I think, could be spun into something a lot more deeper.
Totally.
And taken like to such a depth that it could bring in all the parents. It could bring in like, you know what I mean. But they didn't choose
Because
to do that.
I was curious about that. I was curious.
Me
I mean,
too.
the only real parent that we got to see was we saw Marcy's dad. We
saw
never saw
blips, just tiny little.
We saw Liz's parents. We saw because the next scene after that is Julie going to Liz's house and like standing by her pool and like having this vision of like Liz walking out, like
Very strange.
which I was like very like what is going on?
It was
here?
very wild things.
It was very wild.
I was like,
things,
okay,
like,
I get it, but she's like a little too sexy in this moment to be like a thoughtful moment.
And the mom
nips her out.
The mom meets her out there and like hugs her because like Julie breaks down in tears after like seeing her friend, which I think plays into something I'll talk about towards the end.
Okay.
But next,
so all of this is happening. Prom is coming up. The investigation is still on. Then Courtney Shane decides to. Am I jumping too far ahead?
Wait, where are you?
I'm thinking of talking about Courtney Shane coming to the detective cruise.
No, yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Because it shows them walking into the school and Detective Vera walking out of like the office, and they see each other, and like Courtney Shane's like, "Good morning, Vera." Like, such a bitch. Like,
I know, it's like I would keep my mouth fucking
literally,
shut.
yeah.
But Courtney likes to put it all like as far over as she can, just to like test it.
Yeah, that's what I think it was. I think it was her saying like,
She's
if
like,
I don't
"You
say
can't touch
this, it
me."
would look weird. Yeah,
But I think saying it looks weird.
It looked weird.
The confidence she has looks weird. Rose McGowan described this character as like a young, like on the brink sociopath. Like she probably would grow the fuck up and become a murderer.
Well, she was already halfway there.
She's already killed her first prey. She might have killed before. Who fucking knows?
So Julie sees Violet, and they officially introduce her as Violet.
She's
and they
like,
go,
"Hey, Fern." She's like, "Who's Fern?"
What is she? They say, learn it, live it, love it.
Like,
okay.
Oh, I love it so much.
Okay, all right. Violet, which is like a flower compared to like fern, which is just a plant.
Oh my gosh, and I have some like quotes to throw out there that are kind of near this area.
Mm-hmm.
I think Courtney Shane says this to Violet. She goes, "I made you, and I'm God. That's all you need to know."
It's like, okay, you cocky 17-year-old.
Oh, 17-year-old going on 30. Like,
literally.
Fuck. She looks grown.
I love Rose McGowan though. Like even to this day, she's just
great.
such a babe. Like I love. She's just like a very smart chick, but she's also like not afraid to like go off.
Which is great. She fucking started such a movement that has changed Hollywood.
It really
She fucking
has.
wrecked Harvey Weinstein.
Literally,
She
which
brought him fucking
oh my god, did
down.
Harvey did fucking Weinstein do Jawbreaker?
No, it wasn't Weinstein. Oh wait, you mean like
Was it like his like
it
studio?
may have been. Oh my god.
You know, Miramax.
Maybe that's how they fucking met and that all went down, or before that even.
Well, no, because Miramax did Scream.
Oh, and she was Tatum. Exactly. Oops, sorry.
So I'm thinking that's where they like found each other.
And that's what happened.
Because everybody should know, but if you don't know, Rose McGowan like had this whole thing against Harvey Weinstein back in the day. He paid her $100,000 to like be quiet about a situation that happened between the two of them back in like 1997. And
that was 2 years prior to this movie.
which was so she I don't even know where I was
She
going
came
with
the
that.
fuck out with it, and she started a lot of people coming out with allegations towards men, a lot of them proving to be true, and a lot of them being Hollywood men,
So
like big Hollywood men.
Exactly. So Rose McGowan is iconic,
She
and
is.
we love her.
And I love her so much. And Tatum, are you kidding me? Like
Tatum,
Scream is my favorite movie. Tatum is one of my biggest loves.
Tatum would fit in perfect in this movie. Like
Yeah.
if you put Tatum in
imagine putting Scream
Jawbreaker
and Jawbreaker together
in the same universe.
Imagine Courtney Shane getting her ass murdered.
Oh my god.
I mean,
she would be the killer. No, she would be the
She'd
killer.
be the killer. You're so right.
She would be the fucking killer, of course. And Marcy would be her right
Of
hand.
Woodsboro.
Marcy would be the right hand, I know for a fact.
Oh my god, it would
Wait,
be
but that would be like
Marcy.
too easy to like guess from the beginning.
Yeah,
if I saw
it would
those
be.
two bitches, I'd be like, it was them.
I know.
I love that movie so much.
Me too. We're gonna do an episode on Scream, me and David. We're already planning it. 30th anniversary. Please stay tuned.
It is going to be a shit show. Because not only are we going to be talking about the movie, but we're also going to be talking about the true life case that inspired
The movie. The Gainesville Ripper.
The Gainesville Ripper. Which, I mean, it's such like an ominous, like,
it sounds
title.
so much scarier than, like,
yeah.
But they call the character in Scream the Woodsboro Ripper. Mm-hmm. Oof. Both really scary.
Love that movie.
Okay.
But
so
back to Jawbreaker. I don't know how we even got off. So I had to talk about
Rose
Scream, but it was all
McGowan,
Rose McGowan's fault.
So
they have, I literally have in my notes the next scene, lame scene with Guy, because I was just so not interested
over him.
in.
It's like all these little tiny like tidbits that could have just done without, but whatever.
It took up like a large portion of the movie where I was just like,
He basically
like,
just is there to help later with the one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really all he's there for.
And they could have like totally had him just do that from the beginning, but there always has to be a love story, I guess. Which there doesn't. Like, spoiler, there doesn't have to always be a love story.
Please, like, listen up. There doesn't have to be a love story.
This should have been a story about Julie learning to love herself and like find out her own identity in high school.
Or just a good ass revenge fucking story, just like Cruel Intentions.
Hey,
which there was a love story behind that, but it was far better.
We will have to do. Like,
I know we're gonna have to do
I didn't
Cruel
think
Intentions.
about that. Like, I love that movie too. Okay. So Courtney goes to Vera next, and she's like,
twist.
She's like upset. She's like
crying. She's acting her ass off in front of this detective, and you're just like, Oscar-winning performance.
An addiction.
She wasn't as pure as she said she was.
She was not as pure as she said she was. Liz had cravings. That's what she said. She said Liz had cravings.
She's so dramatic.
She craved strange men. And I'm like, damn, like, okay.
And then it has this sequence of like Courtney explaining what Liz did that night prior.
Yeah, what Liz,
But it's showing like a dreamlike sequence of Courtney going through these motions. Mm-hmm. She's dressed up in red latex. And she's looking.
She goes to a bar with
corset.
How did she get in the bar without like an ID?
Because look at her.
Exactly. She's got
like she could literally persuade anyone to do anything. It seems.
Well, she goes in the bar and she just sees like guy after guy that are just like checking her out. Like, damn. Shit. Love the 17-year-old.
I know, right?
Fucking creepy to like think about.
It is, but knowing that she's a grown woman makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, but like she comes upon one gentleman who
happens
has
to
long
be
ass hair and he's like creepy looking.
You know who that is?
You're like, why does this motherfucker look familiar? He's not wearing his makeup, but it's fucking Marilyn Manson,
who Rose McGowan was engaged to at the time.
They were together whenever she wore that like iconic
that
dress.
Backless.
Yeah, that dress
to the MTV Awards. I think for this movie, that's when they were nominated.
It was perfect. It was iconic.
So
it was
good.
Everything that the gays
She's
wanted.
so fucking. She's an idol.
She really is.
So he's in it for a split second. Doesn't have any lines, but
he's
they go
literally
back.
just there to bang Rose McGowan on top of the bed.
So this is this is where the twist comes in. That night where they set up her body because the parents are coming home. What is it? I guess the next day. Mm-hmm. They find her the next morning or something. They this is never touched on when the first initial like scene of them like setting the body up to be found happens, but that same night Courtney like went out, found a man, took him back to fucking Liz's bed, but like
and
fucked him on
top of the bed while Liz is dead underneath the bed.
So you're like, oh shit, she is framing this man for this murder. She's had this shit planned out.
She's an absolute psychopath at 17 years
psychopath.
old. Like, what the fuck?
Which is such a theme. Like, I was just watching that movie, The Crush, earlier. Have you ever seen that movie? With Alicia Silverstone.
Yes.
It's such a theme with movies in the 90s of like young girls becoming obsessed. With older men, mm-hmm. or just obsessed in any way and like wanting control or power. It was such a 90s thing. There's so many fucking Lifetime movies that was like Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore.
Exactly. I was just going to bring that up.
Yeah.
And there was also Rose McGowan did one called Devil in a Blue Dress or something like that.
Yes, I think I saw that. It was like right beside The Crush on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, so Rose McGowan had actually done like her own type of movie like that. Like, I don't know what type of movie to call it, like some type of exploitation film.
It's like Single White Female, but like a teenager version. But anyways.
But I loved all of them. So.
I know, me too. They're so fun to watch. The Crush was great. It has horrible reviews, but I thought it was so fun.
I love Alicia Silverstone, so...
Oh my god, me too.
Don't start with me on
We have to cover Clueless too. Anyways.
Yes. I would love to do Clueless.
I know.
So
Okay.
Violet,
So she goes to the detective, tells her that happened. This man is now in custody for the murder of Liz. And Julie's like, what the fuck did you do, Courtney? A man is going to go to jail for the rest of his life for this.
well, that's not before Courtney almost runs over Julie, like driving in her fucking car. Like
forgot about
Julie's
that.
getting off the school bus, and Courtney just about runs her over, and they end up in that type of conversation.
And of course, has she told the guy by now? Because she lets him in on everything.
She had told him everything
Yeah.
that had happened between
Which is just
the
like,
two
whatever.
of them. No, wait, no. She almost runs her over, and then she goes and she tells the guy after
She's like,
that.
okay, this is what's been going on, actually. And he's like, what the fuck? But doesn't really care enough, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
He's
be
just
a little
like
bit more
a
scared
fucking
if I knew
yokel.
this girl that I
Yeah.
was fucking talking to was like an accomplice to murder, honestly.
So she tells him that, like, whatever. It's still like the school day. Violet is out front on top of her like
Fucking
cherry red
Corvette.
Corvette, bobbing her head back and forth. Like
Everyone's like, Violet!
everybody's
Violet!
literally like sitting around her.
Courtney doesn't fucking like that.
No, she's
And
like,
she's like, what do you think you're fucking doing? And Violet's like,
she
exactly,
grabs
I'm being
her
what you taught me to
from
be.
she grabs her from the Corvette, pulls her inside to the bathroom, their like office or whatever.
Yes.
And
Has like
she's
a
like,
talk
what the
with her.
fuck are you doing?
She slams her up against the fucking mirror like twice, super hard. Remember?
She
She's
does it hard enough to break the glass. I don't know if you noticed that, but like,
Did it?
yeah, the second time that she hits her with it, she like breaks the glass.
Oh my god, it's so dramatic. Like I'd be like, bitch, I'm about to call the cops on you.
So like they get into like a back and forth. Courtney's like, "I'll fucking shred you, you whore."
And she's like, I know what you did. You're not gonna do anything to me.
Yeah.
The next
Basically,
day,
I have the power. I'm gonna tell everybody what you did if you fucking even try to start anything.
Yeah. But then the next day she shows up, and all around school, which is another very Cruel Intentions moment, there's pictures of the true Fern Mayo that people have just basically forgotten about at this point.
Yeah, which is
And
also
they're like, what?
funny to think about.
I know. It's like,
like,
remember at the beginning, they're like, Fern Mayo's been absent for a few days because Violet's running around this school. Like, I'm like, how? Come on.
how? Like, why are these teachers not
These
realizing?
teachers
like,
have got
this
to realize
person
there's
is
not a
this
transfer
person.
student. You didn't get any paperwork.
Just Violet. Like, she's here now and she's not going anywhere.
No one remembers Fern. That's honestly super sad.
It is sad to think about. Like, that's just how like memorable
But that's
she was.
so Carrie White.
That is true. They did get, like you said, a lot of inspiration, I guess, from that movie. Just from that character, like,
For
alone.
Fern alone,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So there's pictures of Fern. Everyone's making fun of her, yelling at her, which would never happen. But, you know.
Everybody is just like,
You suck. Oh my
you
god.
suck. Oh my god.
you're
Pointing,
Fern.
laughing at her, pushing her, like,
Push her
attacking
down.
her.
Right? No, she faints.
No, she goes like, she's like about to like pass out, and she sees Courtney and Marcy, and she like runs up to Courtney, and Courtney goes, "It's over, bitch."
Then she faints and hits
And then
her head.
No, and then Marcy's like laughing in the background.
It's
like,
such an annoying fucking
so
laugh.
exaggerated, so annoying.
Ugh, my god, I know. I'm just like, mean girl.
So freaking mean. But she passes out and she's like dead on the ground.
Yeah, she hits her head. She goes to the nurse, wakes up. Nurse says, Fern Mayo?
Fern Mayo?
She's
Yeah.
like, who? What did you call me?
How'd you know?
She's like, how do you know that? And she's like, well, honey, you should probably rest. You're really hurt. And she like gets up, runs out, meets Julie in the hall with
Julie's
her
in the hallway with her man,
boyfriend.
whatever.
I think his name's Zach.
I literally don't even remember what his
I
name
wrote it
was.
down.
I did not give two fucks about
I
him.
know, me either.
But she runs out
His
into
name's
the
Zach.
Zach, okay. She runs out into the hallway and like there's like a confrontation between like the two groups, like the three like gig guys and then like Courtney and Marcy. Courtney goes, "Oh God, it's like Terms of Endearment Part 3, except for the boyfriend's gay this time."
Yeah, and then Marcy goes, and the actors fucking suck or something.
That's fucking suck.
And I'm just like, oh my god, which
I
was
loved
pretty
it.
funny, made me laugh. Rose, like all of Courtney's lines, just if anything, watch the movie for that.
Just in the way that she like
Just
delivers it
watching
too.
her
Like
is
she
the best
just,
part.
yeah, she is just so much to handle. Courtney gives her iconic, life's a bitch and then you die line, which was like I remember being played in like every fucking commercial for that movie back in the day.
What have you
like,
done, Courtney? What have you done?
Just what I had to do, dear.
What? Destroy another life, Courtney?
Life's a bitch, then you die.
No, honey, you're the bitch.
Oh, Oh.
So here we are, I guess towards the end of the movie. We're getting...
Julie sees Fern in the hallway. They didn't leave her ass. All the students are gone. She's just in the hall again. Faints again.
Out. She's passed out, like, and there's, like, stuff all over her, like,
all the papers. Yeah,
somebody
covered
with her
face on it. Julie wakes her up and she's like, how can you look at me? I'm a monster. And she's like, it's okay, it's okay. And then they kind of team up and they're going to bring Courtney down.
We're taking that bitch down.
Yes.
She's
so then it's prom
down.
night. And this is a little all too coincidental, in my opinion.
Yeah, everything's just wrapping up so perfectly.
It's so perfectly. So it's prom night. Courtney and everyone are getting ready. They're like already at the prom. Julie is sitting on her bed, just kind of like thinking about whatever, like playing with a fucking Rubik's Cube. And her mom comes in with a box of stuff. And in the box is a box of stuff from Liz's house that they wanted her to have. So in the box there is a birthday card that we forgot to mention earlier.
Which they opened while everything was going on,
It's
while
one
they
of
were
those
placing Liz like in the
record.
position. Yeah.
It's one of those that record, and when they were putting Liz like in the like position to be found or whatever,
they played it where
and it said, "What are you doing to me?
What are you doing to me?
What are you doing to me?" And
from
that
the year
is the
prior,
only line
from the year prior that they said
when
that,
they kidnapped her.
Yeah, when they kidnapped her, they did that. So I'm guessing in that scene somewhere, somebody touches like the record button on it by accident,
and you hear this iconic line,
and you hear Courtney Shane go,
"Say it.
I did it. I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream."
And she goes, "Deal with it.
Deal with it." Like,
and we're just like, "Ugh," and she closes it. Her
she's
eyes are
like,
wide. She's like,
I got everything I fucking needed.
She jumps up, and all of a sudden, she's ready for prom.
See, but that's the thing though that like caught my attention with the scene earlier with Julie going to Liz's house and like seeing her in the pool. Like she was clearly like remorseful about what happened. She was sad. The mom saw that she was like upset about it. So I think that's why the mom was like, here, let me get together some stuff and give it to her because she's the only one out of the group. All
those police officers, the mom picking up that card, everyone in that room didn't open that fucking card.
That
like that
true.
bugged the shit out of me.
I guess, but
that's
then at the same time,
this movie can be at times.
At the same time, if her parents were like, yeah, that's what her friends got her last year, like it could not even register in somebody's mind, like it could possibly
what it
have
actually
a message
is.
in there.
So she gets the evidence. She gets ready for prom. Her and Zach are on the way. Courtney is up for prom queen, and like this movie is really short. This movie came to like the end way quicker than
it was just like over with all of a sudden.
I know. I was like, shit, man. Like
there was no tension at the end, like
because I knew the prom scene was it.
Yeah.
So they're on their way. They
have devised the plan of what they're gonna do, and
they know Courtney's gonna win prom queen.
Yeah, obviously, like
and her little boy toy is gonna be prom king. So Courtney, they're in the crowd. It looks like a lame ass prom in my opinion. The budget for this movie was $3,500,000. Okay, total the gross income from USA at least was like a little over $3 million. So it didn't break even.
That's terrible because it's such a good fucking movie. But
I know, but it doesn't resonate with people like you'd think it would. Like I watched it with Andrew last night. He could give a fuck.
It's just,
which is fine.
It's just like reminiscent of like a certain time. Yeah, it's just like reminiscent of a certain time. It's so
nostalgic. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I remember I looked over and said to him, I was like, can you imagine though, like a 12-year-old girl watching this? Like how obsessed you'd be? Like I was obsessed with it.
Oh my god.
I was
not a 12-year-old girl, but I was obsessed with it.
I was just like obsessed with watching like this life I hadn't lived yet, and then you get to real high school and you're like, this is fucking not like that.
Not like it at all. I mean, thank God.
I know. I mean, yeah, but I wish I was as cool as him. Still, I wish there was no one that fucking cool in high school. I'm telling you, no one.
I mean, not enough to be walking around in, like mini skirts and like
they tell her to
like,
cover up her boobs once, I think.
Barely.
I'm like, bitch, they like are shown that whole movie. No one says a word. When Fern Mayo's on like the nurse's table, she's like wearing a bikini top basically.
Literally, yeah, and a jacket over it. I love that.
Oh my god, so like would never happen. Okay.
Oh my god.
So
he won't quit calling me.
Oh my gosh, Jake is calling. Should we have a little guest caller? Hey Jake.
Hey.
Hey, guess what? You're on movie date with Stacy.
Okay, cool. Let's.
How are
really
you?
Really quick. To not interrupt you guys. David, do you know where my wine bottles are at?
Yeah.
Okay, where are they?
They're in like the box in in your room.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll let y'all get back to it.
Love you.
Everyone listening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Stupid.
That is the funniest thing. That was Jake Carson. That's David's brother and a very, very close friend of mine.
My stupid brother. I don't know what he was thinking. You need to have him on here.
He said no.
He said no.
He doesn't want to do it.
You know what? He said he wouldn't do my podcast either
He
because
doesn't like
the sound of his
talking.
voice.
Oh, I told him you sound great, but
Whatever.
I'm not gonna force him.
Whatever.
And now look, though, we snuck him on, didn't we? He's fucking
always
on
gonna
there
be on
now.
it forever on the first episode.
First episode featuring Jake Carson.
Little Jake.
Okay.
But yeah, so basically.
So now we are at the.
Basically, the movie's over with, and and Courtney is,
She's crowned prom queen.
She's crowned prom queen, but she's also exposed because the second that she
up
goes
to
up
make
there to like get her crown, to like do her thing,
make her little speech. And then all the while, Zach, which I really think is the only reason he was put into his role at all, he's in the back room, like auditorium room, like fucking with...
Literally plugging in like two things. It's like not that big of a deal.
And like fucking with the card to kind of get it to play over the speaker. So she's saying thank you, whatever. Everyone's cheering her on. Everyone's happy. He unplugs her mic and then plugs in like a mic beside him and then opens the card. And then you hear, I did it. I did it. I killed Liz.
I killed the teen dream.
Deal with it.
Thank you so much, Miss Sherwood. Thank you, senior class. You don't know how much it means to me. It's like a dream come true. Thank you, everyone. I love.
I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream. Deal with it. I killed Liz. I killed the teen dream. Deal with it.
What?
I killed Liz.
And everyone's
I
like,
killed the teen dream.
wait a second, what?
And
then he keeps playing it.
They are angry because Liz
she's like,
was the teen dream.
Yeah, and then they all kind of realize what's happening, and you hear in the crowd, you hear, wait, that's her voice. And then you like slowly see audience members react.
That bitch!
Yeah, she's
That's
like,
what you hear.
that bitch. It's like slow motion. And then they all start throwing their corsages
Launching
at her.
everything at her.
This Frank Sinatra song comes on. It's like slow motion, her moving through the crowd. Corsage is flying at her face. She's crying
She's
and
like
holding
getting
her
smacked
face.
in the face, yeah.
Everyone's
like her hair is
yelling
getting
at
all
her.
messed up.
Everyone's crying. Everyone's like, how
She
could you
killed
do
her.
that? Da-da-da. Gets to the end of the line of
And
all of
who's
these
there?
high schoolers. Who's there other than Julie? And is Fern there?
Mm-hmm.
Fern's there too. They have a camera in their hands because we never mentioned this either. When they opened the trunk initially, they took a picture of Liz.
Yeah.
And then she dropped the camera on the ground when she saw.
They realized that she was dead.
So Julie's standing at the end of the thing, and she says,
Smile, bitch.
Doesn't she say like smile pretty, Courtney? Or like whatever Courtney says.
Smile for the camera.
Yeah. Takes a picture and it has like 3 snapshots of Courtney. And then it like lands in a yearbook. I'm like, who the fuck would put that in a yearbook?
They put the murderer like in the middle of the yearbook
For
and nobody
prom
made
night.
mention about that. The fuck? Like,
I mean, it was definitely
she
just a funny thing. But
She killed Liz. She killed the teen dream. And we're gonna like immortalize her in this fucking yearbook.
so goofy.
Fuck.
And that's like the end of it. There's no like tie up with police. There's no seeing anyone getting in trouble.
It was just kind of done.
It was like, this is what happened. You kind of take it from here. You like interpret what goes on after this.
Which,
And-
I mean, I kind of did, but at the same time,
But
like,
also, what about Marcy? Marcy's hiding under the fucking table while all this is happening. But like, and Julie though, they should both honestly get in trouble, in my opinion.
I mean,
This movie is problematic in a lot of ways.
very problematic. This is a totally different time.
But yeah, I mean, I don't see Julie just like getting off scot-free like I think she thinks is gonna happen.
Yeah, just because she's
Maybe
like the
she doesn't
hero
even
in
care.
our mind. Maybe because even though she's the hero in our mind, she's not like the hero in the movie like universe because she didn't fucking
still
go
was
to
an
the cops.
accomplice,
Yeah,
and she should have went to the police. When she's sitting on her bed, like not knowing what to do, bitch, and you're already not her friend. go to the police.
Yeah, you're gonna sit there and cry.
I know, you're just gonna sit there and cry and not like do something about
Give me
it.
a break.
But
So yeah, that was Jawbreaker.
I know, yeah. It was super fun watch. If you want to watch something that's just gonna kind of uplift you, make you feel laugh and feel good, watch Jawbreaker. I read that it was actually written as a horror movie, and then he started like writing in the teen elements, and he like realized he was slowly writing like a dark comedy, and he like took out the horror. So I wonder if they would have went with that, if there would have been more murders.
But I did love the movie.
Yeah. So what do you?
So
Okay. So on IMDb it is given a 5.6 out of 10.
That's some bullshit.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is, because that's like a 10-star movie.
Oh my God.
Okay, maybe not 10. I'll
You
go with like
actually give it a
9. I'll
9?
give it like a 9 because it's just a 9 to me because I just find
Nostalgia plays a big role in my choices for films too, and like why I love them.
And I guess maybe it just takes me back to like that time, like where I just thought that this was like so innovative and so cool. I couldn't believe that I was watching this. Like Jawbreaker was like everything that I wanted to write whenever I was like a younger kid, like something like irreverent, something funny, something like, but also dark and kind of scary. Yeah,
and it also reminded me of that movie. What was it? Sugar and Spice? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, Sugar and Spice. I love that whole...
That kind of like color scheme that they all had was very much like this. So I have a little bit of trivia that I can go over with you. So Pam Grier, the woman who plays Detective Cruz, in her contract it states that she must be in charge of doing her own hair for her films. And for this film, she's wearing about 3 wigs blended together.
Okay. I can see that was like a lot of hair.
I know, like you saw her hair. It was like this big, like she looked like Amazon woman. Like in a good way though. She was killing it. But I thought that was funny. She has in her contract she does her own hair.
Hey, I don't blame her. Sometimes, you don't want people to fuck with your shit.
I know, yeah. The writer-director Darren Stein originally intended to write a horror film. Yeah, I said this earlier. When he started writing the script, he based it on a group of girls he went to school with who would kidnap each other on their birthdays, and thought, what if that went horribly wrong? And in the process, he eventually realized that he was actually writing a dark comedy. Manson was given his cameo part because he was engaged to Rose McGowan at the time the movie was made. Rose McGowan was said to say that Judy Greer was much more of a Violet than a Fern Mayo behind the scenes, which is great to know. The film was shot in a short and hectic 30 days, which kind of gives it some room to like... I can see why the depth wasn't there.
I wonder if like there was like an end like planned out, but they just didn't have time to film it, so they just were like, let me just like knock it out real quick.
Yeah, because they don't really tie up anything.
Because I mean that happens like a lot of movies. Which is
fine though. It was so like on the surface anyways that I was fine with the ending like that.
It was such like a shallow movie. I didn't mind having a shallow ending.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the only line of dialogue that Liz Purr has is when they open the card initially, and it says, "What are you doing to me?" Writer-director Darren Stein is featured in one of the yearbook photos that flashes across the screen. The band playing at the prom is the Donnas. The soundtrack for this movie, though, is fucking awesome. Yeah. That's one of the best parts of the movie. Let's see. Rachel Lee Cook, the girl from She's All That, initially auditioned for the role of Julie. Did not get it.
I could see that. Like, that meat type chick.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it went to Rebecca Gayhart, because I love her. I mean, Urban Legends, iconic.
I know, like, yeah, we know Rebecca Gayhart from Urban Legend. Like, what a bad bitch.
She's married to Eric Dane.
Who was that?
He's like McSteamy or whatever from Grey's Anatomy. He's the dad on Euphoria.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway. That like messed with me a bit.
But they had like this like scandal a couple of years ago. Actually, it's probably like 10 years ago. Like a nude like tape scandal.
Oh,
Rebecca
who cares
Gayhart.
Anymore?
She killed someone.
In real life?
Yes. She murdered them.
What?
It was a car accident, but she killed them.
No.
Just like Brandy did. Rebecca Gayhart.
That same thing happened to who the fuck is it? Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What's his name? Matthew Broderick. He killed like 2 people in Italy on accident.
Jesus.
It was a wreck.
Caitlyn Jenner killed somebody too.
Jesus Christ. They get off with it though because they're rich.
That's the new podcast, is like celebrities who kill people and get off with it.
Because that's always going to happen.
I mean, shit.
You have the right amount of money, like you're good. You're at least not in jail during your trial, which is such a strange thing to me.
It's crazy how people like don't talk about that either. Like,
oh, dude, if you have money, you rule the world.
You just rule the world.
You can pay anybody off.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see if I have anything else. The Reagan High School is actually University High School in Los Angeles, California.
Yes, there's been so many movies that have been filmed there.
Rose McGowan and Rebecca Gayhart both appear in the Scream franchise. McGowan played Tatum Riley in Scream 1996, and Gayhart played sorority sister Lois in Scream 2.
She's in that movie, but she didn't have a single line, and like
she was like right standing there.
There's like an iconic picture of Sarah Michelle Gellar and Rebecca Gayhart and like this other like sorority chick, and like they were talking. They were supposed to be like talking in the scene, but like I guess it was cut from the movie. But yeah, there's like a very iconic photo of her.
Oh, Scream 2, I love it so much.
Love it.
In the scene where Courtney is changing Fern's name, she says, "A fern is a plant, right? Well, I don't know about you, but I would much rather be a flower. A rose is too obvious. Never send a rose unless dyed black as a warning."
I love that.
This is ironic because the character of Courtney is named Rose in real life, which is so funny.
I didn't even think about that.
I know. And that's all I have for trivia. So yeah, I think so you give it a 9 out of 10. I think because of its nostalgic like place in my heart, and also because I just love shit like this so much. Like, I don't know. I definitely recommend it. Watch it. I'm going to give it a 7. Is
a 7 and a 9 is like an 8. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's an 8. There we go. I have a few questions to ask you before we finish up here.
Okay.
Does that sound fun?
Give it to me.
If you could be any character from any movie, who would you be and why?
From any movie?
Yes, I know it's broad. Take your time.
I would be... I'd be Sharon Carter from The Avengers.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I knew you were going to pick a Marvel thing.
Yeah, I mean... I could either
David loves Marvel.
I could either be Captain America, which I mean is great, or I could be Captain America's love interest, which would be even better. That's so funny. So yeah, maybe Sharon Carter, or if that doesn't work out, if it has to be a guy, then I'll be Captain America. It has to be a guy.
You be whoever you want.
I'll be whoever I want to be.
Okay, so maybe this will be in the same realm, but what movie universe would you like to live in?
Let's think about it for a little bit. The Scream universe. There you freaking plot twist there.
You did. I didn't expect that.
You thought I was going to say Marvel, but I don't want to live in a world where fucking...
everything's under attack all the fucking time?
Because if I didn't have powers. If I had powers, fuck yeah. But if I was just like a human, oh my god, I would be livid. I would be so jealous. Why not a mutant? Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly. And I would be like the hater.
I know.
I'd be the purifiers of like, we gotta get rid of damn mutants. But really, funny. I just want to be them.
I know, yeah. You like hate what you can't have. Oh, so
literally. Funny. So yeah, I guess I'd pick the Scream universe because like,
what a good one.
I'd have to find out. I'm like, who is killing my friends?
I know, but you're Sidney Prescott, so you survive.
Oh wait, I would be Sydney.
No, you can be whoever you want.
Oh, I thought I would just be myself, and like all my friends were dying.
You're Jamie Kennedy.
I'm David Carson.
I'm losing it. Okay, the last question is, if you could, since this is Movie Date with Stacy, if you could go on a date with any character from a movie, who would you go with? Who would
any movie? Obviously, Captain America.
Really?
Or if not Captain America, Spider-Man. Tom Holland is so cute.
Oh my god, she's the best Spider-Man.
So yeah, the two of them, one of them.
Yeah, no.
Or maybe both.
No, Spider-Man on Tuesday and then Captain America on Wednesday.
No, I want them both at the same time.
Okay.
I have two hands. I literally have two hands.
And you got like this guy making like a spider web for you to all cuddle in.
That would be romantic, actually. The three of us to cuddle. Thruple. I want to be.
And they'll protect you.
Anyway, on that note, I'll see you later.
All right, so anything else you want to add before we go?
Oh my god, no.
We've been talking for quite a while.
We have been. I had such a good time.
I think this is a great first episode.
I hope that, you enjoyed me being here talking about this crazy ass movie with you.
So easy, so fun. I loved it. I can't wait to do more.
Oh my gosh, me too. Like I said, me and Stacey will be doing another podcast on the movie Scream.
The 30th anniversary, we think, is in September, right?
It's in September, so we will be putting together something here shortly.
Thinking about maybe even visiting Gainesville.
Checking out a couple of the sites.
Maybe taking some photos to release along with this, maybe even a video.
Maybe even a video.
And you know what we should do? We should go with our little voice recorder in hand.
No. I'm scared to do that.
Know,
what if the cops think that we're the new version of the Scream
Oh
Killers?
my gosh, I know, and we're doing our research so we can take on the new.
And fucking Deputy Dewey's over there coming after us.
He's like, what are you doing?
What the hell are you kids doing?
No, he's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, guys? I know you're up to no good.
These kids cutting it loose. Okay, I think that wraps it up for the very first episode of Movie Date with Stacey. Thank you so much for joining me, David.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this and allowing me to plug my podcast on here. So be sure to listen to Stupid Gay Drama on Apple Podcasts. It's trying to put out new episodes every couple of weeks now. So, subscribe on there.
Yeah, and be sure to subscribe to Movie Date with Stacey. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Swimming, the gaze, the flow.